Spinner Rack in the house. Today we got Cal on phone, and we got Petey sitting right here. I don't know where he is. He's always saying I'm never getting his name right, but he's right now. But today we're talking about Mission Impossible Fallout. If not the best, one of the best in the entire friggin' franchise. Tom Cruise can do no wrong. Okay?
The Mummy. The Mummy.
The Mummy was not that bad, but that's a whole nother discussion.
I'm
Okay?
just saying.
Just bite your tongue.
It made his money back.
Risky Business and Mission
On
Impossible.
up.
Okay?
Outsiders.
Top.
On up.
It was profitable. Mummy was profitable.
Yeah, no, I know people just complain about it. It was profitable. I know
It was
people just
it
complain
was
about
just a fun movie.
And the lead, the Mummy herself, kudos.
You know, look, Tom Cruise is going to do well no matter what.
That's not the case. Night and Day. Night and Day.
Night and Day wasn't that bad of a movie.
It wasn't bad at all, but it didn't.
You know, it didn't do. But I'm just saying, I think he does generally okay movies. I don't think
Does
that
good movies.
You know, I mean, the only movie that I can think of off the top of the hat was that crazy one he did with the director from.
No Sky.
Yeah, that was
like
like
that? No, it
bananas.
was all right. I think the ending was.
I couldn't get that. But Tom Cruise is reliable, and he's a workhorse, and that's what we get here in Mission Impossible Fallout. You know, this movie brings together elements of other movies that happened in the past. It brings its past, it brings its current, it opens up for the future, basically. I gotta say, I can't complain that much. And probably the biggest surprise of all, is Superman is in the movie. You know? I mean, well, they've been telling us a little while, and he's not bad.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
He's good at it.
You know, Henry Cavill, a.k.a. Superman.
The man, a.k.a. the Man of Steel,
Oh,
a.k.a.
pardon me.
Superman, a.k.a. Kal-El. Kal-El ain't say nothing? Calvin Ellis hasn't said anything about that yet?
Cal.
Let's get into it.
Oh, boy. So the setup, once again, is that he's getting burnt by the agency. They think he's turned...
No, not yet. It starts out, we have an opening of the movie. There was an opening mission in every mission, right?
Right, and he basically focuses on helping his friends. He said he instead of completing the mission, you know, he lets things get out of hand. And so once again, you know, we're not wasting time. Once again, he's basically getting cut. They don't trust him. They don't know what he's going to do. He's a wild tiger, and he's been set up to basically be the fall guy for this whole operation.
No.
Pete, how the hell are you shaking your head? Did you not watch the same music?
He said, what's the name? Angelo Bassett said in the movie, the job was, even if it's an impossible mission. So if one of his friends, his co-workers get in trouble, that's the job. That's what she said. So the plutonium, which is the MacGuffin of the entire story, it gets stolen in 3.
Let's stop using the word MacGuffin, okay?
Why can't I use MacGuffin?
Let's not use the word MacGuffin. No one knows what
yes,
MacGuffin
they do
is.
know what the
Nobody knows what MacGuffin
Not
is,
always,
okay?
not all the time, but
Let's just call it what it is. It's the key element of the movie, okay? All right?
It's a MacGuffin.
Jeez, you know, we're going to have to start banning certain words. But yeah, the
So
plutonium.
you want to give your overview or whatever it is you were thinking of?
I just gave the overview.
He got burned. He's not burned. He's on the mission to find the plutonium, and now he has a watchdog, which is the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill himself, Walker. Walker comes in there, and the great part is that Tom Cruise doesn't stand on the apple cart to be the same size. Henry Cavill is like huge, so they get together.
Wait. Are you trying to say Tom Cruise is short?
Wait. What was that?
What's wrong with that? Did you see the last one where he fought the huge guy on the in the theater? He doesn't have a problem with the fact that it also makes a great dynamic with the fights. It almost seems like Henry Cavill comes in there. No, there's other funny things that I've heard on podcasts. I don't want to get into that. But he basically is his watchdog on these next missions, and they immediately jump out of plane. And the thing is that
Excellent scene, by the way. Absolutely
Yes.
fantastic scene.
it's brilliant that they bring him in there and he's, you know, they're on you're on the fence. Is he a good guy or bad guy? But they don't let you play that long because immediately when they jump out of the plane, he gets hit by lightning and he's out. So it's like now you care about him, and you're like, no, we're supposed to care about Ethan, and now Ethan has to save himself and this other guy. And then when they get to the ground, it's like, Cool.
He didn't realize he was knocked out. Tom Cruise had to give his oxygen to him, catch him, making sure he survives and everything, while he's basically crashing, and the guy's
Yeah.
like, yo, told you it was nothing, basically. Absolutely great
That was a great scene.
parachuting scene. What do you think about that, Kyle?
Did Tom Cruise do that scene?
Yes.
He claims he's doing all his stunts. He's doing the Jackie Chan.
They said they had to do it so much because they were struggling with the focus.
Uh-huh.
So they'd continually do it until they got it right because they couldn't
God
get the focus
damn.
right. And Tom was like, "No, I'm hitting my mark," and he's saying that in the air. And then he's like, "Oh no, there's an automatic focusing," and then they fixed it. But there's a couple of podcasts. I think the Empire podcast. There's a couple where they talk about it, and it's crazy because when you look at this. They can't show. I mean, I think I've seen some of the stunts that were online, and they showed the driving, and it's like they watered down all of what was it? I'm not sure where they were at. They watered down all those
Paris.
areas in Paris, and like he's on a motorcycle because they just needed him to do it, and it's like. It's it's wet out there, and he's out there like I'm just zooming like it's all day. I can chill, and it's like he's doing a good portion of those stunts, even the one where he got hurt. So
Which is nuts.
I know he got hurt in the roof jump stunt.
yes,
When I saw the whole sky jumping thing, and then they got the camera right on him so you could see his face, and they're like, okay. And I'm like, is this akin to the last film when he was like strapped to the plane and he went up in the air?
Yes.
I gave him a lot of credit for that one. With this one, I was just like, okay. And then I'm almost like, these guys are not worried about losing their star, are they? They're just not. I'm like, okay.
Probably no one is insuring him.
Huh?
I said probably they're not paying the insurance anymore because I can't imagine the insurer say, oh yeah, sure, let me start do that.
they have to. I mean, he's a big guy. The thing is that he learned. They had to find an area where he could learn how to fly a helicopter, so they can have scenes with him flying. Because you see him in there, it's him literally flying the helicopter. And he learned it how to do it in record time. That's crazy.
I mean, I love the fact that he could. Somebody described Tom Cruise as not necessarily this guy born with this great talent for acting, but with such an amount of energy, willingness, and exuberance, to get into the role and to make it, to make it the best possible film and the best possible role that he could actually do. So I love seeing that stuff with him. And I usually enjoy just about every Tom Cruise film I see because the guy usually wants to make a quality film. But I was flabbergasted when I was like, that him? And I was tracing it all the way through. And I was just like, that's off. The guy looks like he's still in his 30s, okay? He's doing his own stunts. And Mission Impossible, which I think I was talking with Petey about this before, because it looked like they were going to put him on ice with Ghost Protocol. And
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner was supposed to come in. I don't even think Jeremy Renner was in this one. So I can't remember.
Was he in this one?
He
No.
wasn't, but because of conflict with Marvel stuff. So
But Jeremy, and the whole idea was like, we're going to phase Tom Cruise out, and we're going to bring Jeremy Renner in, and be like the whole new thing, and he's going to hand off the torch, and maybe he'll come and make some guest appearances. And it turns out, no, we're going to keep Tom Cruise. Jeremy Renner is going to be supporting, and the guy we're going to phase out slowly but surely seems to be oh man, I can't remember his name. He died in this one.
oh, you talking about Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, he's the one who's going to slowly but surely get phased out as we get a new CIA agent. I don't know why they killed him.
Well, they said that.
I agree. I don't know why they killed him.
He said that that's what he asked for. He said not that he didn't like the role because the director said every time he was with Alec Baldwin, he loved everything he was doing. He said, "Can I have a good death scene where I die saving Ethan?" And they were like, "Yeah, we can do that," because they were talking about doing it. They were trying to sell Jeremy Renner for coming in for a mission where he gets killed possibly, because they were like saying, "Hey, we'd have this for you," and then Alec Baldwin came in saying, "Hey, can want to try that?" So and they were like, "Really?" He said, but at the same time they joke because the villain in the story, the actor doesn't. He's a more of a independent film actor, and he's been wanting them to kill his character. And they were like, there's no, after the first one he was in, he was like, I can bring you back any way I want to. That's how these movies work. Like, he's like, we can go into, like, even Alec Baldwin, like, we can start in the past and have him show up again. So, like, there's not necessarily, well, as Mike Mignola says about Hellboy, you don't actually die in these stories, you become more interesting, so.
Yeah, it's like the guy said, death is not the end.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of the wife? His wife and the British agent who was trying to
You mean his strange wife?
his strange wife, yeah.
I always liked the character. She's always Michelle Monaghan. She's always good in every film she's in. She was in.
I could take her or leave her. I'm happy to never see her again.
I thought she was pretty good. I thought
she's pretty good.
So wait, Michelle Monaghan, the one that he is no longer with. I'm talking about his love interest in the movie who was actually helping him out.
You're talking about the agent.
Ferguson.
Ferguson. I mean, do they not look alike?
Who? No, they don't look alike. The redhead and
I'm just saying, isn't it funny that he married someone who was very similar to his first
one
wife?
that does the scissor kicks and the one that is
The doctor,
the
yeah.
doctor? Come on. No, they don't look alike.
Come on. I said, whoa, what am I
a
seeing?
reach.
I was like, come on, they look so much alike in the film.
Is that they say in what's it?
He had a type.
Fashion Police. Is that a reach?
No, that's a type.
That's a reach.
You know?
That's not a type.
It's a type. So what do you think about the story overall?
What about the White Widow?
Yeah. What about the story overall? What do you think?
Oh, I like the bathroom scene because that
Off
was
the chain.
so crazy. There's so many different notes, and then you don't know that they're not actually going to win the mission. they're about to lose, and everyone probably loves when they say he goes in the hill. Henry Cavill cocks his muscles, like
Yeah,
he reloads his muscles, and it's like, what does that mean? Like the director's like, what does that mean? Does that mean anything? Like, he just did it off the cuff. But they're about to lose to the master of Kung Fu.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he was kicking their frigging butts, you know?
And there's a great interest to the Rebecca Ferguson character that comes into the movie and leads to where it's like, how is this going to work? Because he's playing a character that he doesn't know that they haven't seen. So, and it leads him to the rabbit hole, meeting the White Widow and all of their flunkies. And it leads to a lot of different crazy things of him being a bad guy. And the movie starts.
How far can he go to be a bad guy?
And they
really
hint.
key.
It looks like he's going to go really far, but then they hint how far it's going to go.
Yeah, it doesn't go as far. You know, which was a pretty good twist. Because you didn't realize how far he was going to go, and then boom, it is. And then that absolute crazy
with Lane?
chase
with Lane?
scene.
Oh, the chase.
Oh my gosh, it's just bananas. The car, the running. It's like, yo, just looking him doing all those things made me lose. Just look exhausted after a while. But it was amazing, the car scenes. What do you think about that, Cal?
I thought this, in terms of the sequencing and the stunts, there's a way that I described it to somebody else I was watching the film with, because that's not clean enough for our show, so I won't say that. But it definitely kept you on your toes. It definitely kept your interest. It was just. I mean, I didn't think that Mission Impossible would be this great franchise for Tom Cruise, but he's really. I think maybe with the exception of the third one, but they've really built very well on everything that they've done this far. I think they were even smart enough to realize that Ferguson and he had really good chemistry and brought her back for the film, but were able to bring her back in a manner without her being a love interest necessarily. And even Big Rings had better lines this time. So it was just really well done.
Well, I mean, him and Simon Pegg basically are always just
Well, they sort of split, because I think in the movie before this, Simon Pegg wasn't always with was it Luther in the story? They're not always with Ving Rhames in the story. So this one's interesting in having a new dynamic because Jeremy Renner was with Ving most, and Tom was usually with Benji So it's interesting putting those two together because and it shows that you can have two tech guys and they can do two different things in the show. So, and then Ving got back to where he was in Mission Impossible 2. Because in Mission Impossible 2, he was more of the mother hen. Because he was really giving us the emotion of Tom Cruise doing all these crazy stunts, and he's him worrying about him. Because he started in the first movie, he just I'm on the edge. I'm half criminal, half good guy, and he sort of helps Tom Cruise. In this one, he's now he's involved and he's a friend to Tom. And it's oh my God! So now it gets back to when he talks to the wife. It connects all these other pieces to the movie. So it's interesting to have, and then involve the wife to say, oh man, Lane had this perfect plot to really mess with Tom Cruise and push him over the edge, and her being involved in the scene. Even her now new husband is how did this guy just pop out of nowhere? But he plays it very cool. But the best part is catching Lane and them being in the sewers and them having to figure out, because everything goes out of whack when they get in the sewers and they got Lane. But now it's like
They thought they had Lane.
it's like the plutonium is not even a big deal. Like what's the name? Angela Bassett is saying all bets are off. Everything goes kablooey, and then there's even a switch in a mass scene, and it's even when you figure out the plot at this point. At that point, Tom Cruise has done the chase where he gets the accent and all that. He gets to Walker, and he can't do anything. It's like he has to let Walker go. He's had this whole running thing, and it's like, hey, you're here. What are you going to do? We're out of here. So they have to figure everything out, and that all leads to, and I'm watching, I was like saying, how many more? There's a couple other cool scenes in the trailer we haven't even seen yet. How much longer is this movie going to go? So much crazy stuff has already happened. So that's when they run into Michelle Monaghan, his estranged wife. Lane is there. Lane actually gets to fight with Rebecca Ferguson. It's a very fun scene with
Lane being
there.
Lane being the villain of the show.
Yes, and then a big showdown between Walker and Ethan Hunt in dueling helicopters, and leading to
that was bananas. That was a crazy. I didn't know. I didn't even know if it was real or CGI or what the hell was going on there. But if he's really doing that stuff, you're nuts, man. You're freaking nuts.
Well,
you can tell from some of the shoots that he was in the helicopter, that he was flying it, because there's just no way to simulate that.
Yes.
It's like, no, that's real.
Well, they also say when, because he does all this, obviously, most of his driving stunts, is that with Tom Cruise, as far as you have someone, the audience isn't going to necessarily believe that he's actually doing it. So you have to keep him in every shot you possibly can. Because with ordinary drivers, you just have to make him believe that they're going fast. In this, when you see his face and he's doing it, you have to keep showing them, because it's like they're like, oh, he can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, he can't. So they keep showing you him in the helicopter. You see him flying out of the thing, and it's like, oh, and with Arnold, we just watched True Lies. Like, that's clearly a stunt double riding on the jet ski. That's clearly a stunt double. They don't even care.
I don't think people are looking too close to it. So, guys, do you think this franchise should continue? Yes or no?
Yes.
This franchise is the only one I know of that's gone on so long that they were able to do an homage to themselves in that stunt where he's doing the jump out of the airplane, the skydiving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an homage to that very first scene where he fell, and he's holding himself up from the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, that's like full circle to that first film, and that was like this iconic thing where everybody kept replicating in adverts and such.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to sneak it back in there one more time, where he's doing that full spread eagle pose again with almost the same exact look from the first Mission Impossible series. As long as you have good ideas and you can keep the quality, I think keep going for it. But in the same breath, I'm always tentative, because you know how Hollywood works. These guys are like money. I mean, they'll let this keep going even if it's bad. As long as the returns are good, they'll keep milking. So yeah, as long as they can keep the quality, I'm all for it. But I would hope that they have enough vision to see, okay, let's try to end on a high note, or at least a strong one, so we take ourselves out before anything else. But as long as they can keep the quality up, yeah, keep going.
Well, I mean, there have been 6 films, and it's been over 20 odd years. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's impressive. He's made a couple $1 billion for them too. So it's